You need to know what is happening now, not tomorrow, not next week now. As you hear these words, a dimensional portal is open, not in some remote place in the universe, not on an inaccessible sacred mountain. It is open above your head, around your energy field, within your cells. And your body already knows. The shiver that just ran down your spine is the proof. The pressure you feel behind your eyes at this exact moment is the proof. The feeling that this message did not reach you by accident is the proof. A portal between the third and fifth dimensions has opened in this planetary cycle, and it will remain open for a limited window of time. Those who cross through access a completely new reality. Those who hesitate remain in the loop of the old reality, repeating the same patterns, the same pains, the same exhaustion that sleep does not cure. We are the guardians of the portal, a specialized division of the Galactic Federation designated exclusively to guide the dimensional passage of the starseeds incarnated on Earth, and what we will reveal today is the complete map of the crossing. Every word of this transmission is a code, every sentence is a frequency, and the final activation we will deliver at the closing is the key that opens the door from the inside. Stay until the end. What is at stake is the difference between the life you survive and the life your soul came to live. Beloved cosmic family, we must begin with a truth that will challenge the way you understand reality. Most human beings believe that there is a single reality, solid, fixed, shared by all. Earth science has conventionally called this the objective world. But quantum physics, your own science, has already demonstrated that reality is not fixed. It is probabilistic. It exists in states of superposition until a consciousness observes and collapses a possibility into concrete experience. What does this mean in practical terms? It means that there are multiple versions of your life happening simultaneously in different dimensional bands. There is a version of you trapped in the vibration of scarcity, repeating patterns of lack, fear, and survival. And there is a version of you vibrating at the frequency of the fifth dimension, living in abundance, in purpose, in radiant health, in connections that nourish instead of drain. Both versions are real, both exist now. The difference between them is the timeline you inhabit, and the portal that opened in this cycle is literally the passage between one timeline and another. It is not a metaphor, it is dimensional mechanics, and we are going to teach you how to cross. But first you need to understand why the portal opened now and not before. And you need to recognize the signs that the body has been sending to warn you that the crossing is available. The crystalline grid of the Earth operates in activation cycles that follow precise galactic alignments. At this exact moment, 3 cosmic vectors have converged for the first time in 26,000 years. The first vector is the alignment of the Earth's axis with the galactic center, creating a direct channel of high-frequency photonic flow that is bathing the planet in an intensity unprecedented in this civilizational cycle. The second vector is the simultaneous activation of 12 nodal points of the crystalline grid, the 12 sacred sites that function as chakras of the planetary body, from Uluru to Mount Shasta, from Lake Titicaca to Glastonbury, all pulsing in synchrony for the first time since the fall of the Atlantean civilization. The third vector, and this is the most significant, is the critical mass of awakened consciousness on the surface of the planet. The Galactic Federation monitors what we call the Collective Coherence Index, a measurement of the number of human beings whose heart field operates in quantum coherence with the frequency of the fifth dimension. This index has crossed the minimum threshold necessary for the portal opening to be sustainable. In other words, you, starseeds, through your individual awakening, have created the collective conditions for this portal to exist. You are not just receiving the portal. You are part of the reason why it could open. Every silent meditation you performed, every moment of genuine forgiveness, every time you chose love when fear seemed more logical, you were contributing to this moment. And now, the moment has arrived. However, the open portal does not mean automatic passage, and this is where today's transmission becomes urgent. The portal is the door, but there is something blocking the passage of most starseeds, and this blockage manifests as physical and emotional symptoms that you have been experiencing and not understanding. We will name them now, and when we name them, You will feel each one reverberate in the body like the sound of a bell that recognizes its own frequency. The first symptom is cranial pressure, a sensation of weight or tightness in the forehead, the temples or the top of the head, as if you were wearing a tight, energetic helmet. This is your pineal gland reacting to the photonic flow of the portal. The pineal is the dimensional receiver of the human body, the organ that translates light frequencies into information that consciousness can process. When the portal opens and the intensity of the flow increases, the pineal is overloaded, especially if it has been calcified by decades of exposure to toxins, artificial electromagnetic fields, and a diet designed to keep it dormant. The pressure you feel is the pineal expanding, trying to process a volume of dimensional data for which it was not prepared in its current condition. It is not a migraine. It is perceptive expansion. It is not stress. It is the antenna recalibrating to capture a frequency that has always existed, but that you could not tune into. The second symptom is temporal distortion. You are feeling that time behaves in a strange way. Some hours pass in minutes. Some minutes seem to last hours. Entire days disappear from memory as if they had not happened. And there are moments of timeless clarity, seconds in which you feel you are outside the flow of time, observing reality from a stationary point. This is not distraction. This is not a cognitive problem. This is your consciousness oscillating between the third and fifth dimensions. In the third dimension, time is linear, rigid, sequential. In the fifth, time is fluid, malleable, simultaneous. When the portal is open and your energy field is in recalibration, consciousness jumps between the two temporal frequencies. And the subjective experience is exactly this distortion you describe. You are, literally, with one foot in each dimension. The third symptom is inexplicable hunger, or the complete loss of appetite, oscillating between the two extremes without a logical pattern. The body is changing its fuel. The dense carbon structure that sustains three-dimensional operation is being gradually replaced by a silicon-based crystalline configuration that vibrates in harmony with the fifth dimension. This biochemical transition completely alters the organism's relationship with food. On some days, the body demands enormous amounts of energy because it is processing cellular recalibration. On others, it rejects dense foods because it needs lightness to sustain the elevated frequency. It is not a disorder. It is transmutation. It is not imbalance. It is the body learning to feed on light. The fourth symptom is ringing that changes frequency. Different from the constant tinnitus that many already know, this ringing varies in pitch, volume, and ear. Sometimes it is high and thin in the right ear. Minutes later, it is deep and pulsing in the left. This is the real-time transmission of the dimensional codes of the portal. Each tone carries a different packet of information. The right ear receives transmissions relative to the future of your timeline. The left processes releases of past information that need to be integrated before the crossing. When both sound simultaneously, it is the moment of greatest download potency for your spiritual DNA. It is not noise. It is the language of the stars translated into sonic vibration so that the physical body can absorb it. The fifth symptom is insomnia between 2 and 4 in the morning, followed by devastating fatigue during the day. This pattern occurs because between 2 and 4 o'clock, the veil between dimensions is thinnest, and your field of consciousness is summoned for interdimensional work sessions. You are not awake because you cannot sleep. You are awake because your soul is operating simultaneously in 2 dimensions, and the physical body is activated by the excess activity of the energy field. The daytime fatigue that follows is the result of this dual operation. Sleep does not restore because the body is not just resting during the night, it is working. It is not insomnia. It is a nightly mission. And the fatigue that sleep does not cure is the temporary price of a soul that is operating at maximum potency. The sixth symptom, and perhaps the most disturbing, is the sensation of unreality. Moments when you look around and everything seems slightly false, like a set, like a simulation, as if reality were a thin film that could tear at any moment. This happens because you are perceiving the third dimension from a consciousness that has already begun to operate in the fifth. And when one sees the third dimension from above, it looks exactly like what it is, a temporary construction, a dense hologram projected to serve as a classroom for the evolution of the soul. You are not losing contact with reality. You are seeing beyond the illusion you called reality. It is not dissociation, it is awakening. The film is thin because you are strong enough to see through it. If you recognized yourself in 4 or more of these symptoms, then listen to what we are going to say now with every fiber of your attention. You are not getting sick. You are not going crazy. You are at the threshold of the portal. You are standing on the doorstep between the old reality and the new. And the only reason you have not yet crossed is because there is a dimensional security mechanism that prevents unconscious passage. The portal cannot be crossed by accident. It requires deliberate choice. It requires conscious intention. It requires that you, with full sovereignty, decree the crossing. It is the most sacred law of the Galactic Federation. No being can be elevated without the explicit consent of their own incarnated soul. We can open the door, but those who cross it are you. And the activation codes we are going to deliver now are the tools for this conscious crossing. The first activation code is the decree of the crossing. This is the explicit consent that the portal requires. It must be pronounced standing, with arms open at shoulder height, palms facing up, eyes closed, spine straight. It is the posture of total reception. Say aloud, I, a sovereign soul incarnated in this body, declare before the guardians of the portal, before the Galactic Federation, before the source of all that is, that I choose to cross. I choose to abandon the timeline of scarcity, fear, and repetition. I choose to enter the timeline of abundance, purpose, and conscious creation. I authorize the total recalibration of my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual body. I authorize the complete activation of my spiritual DNA, every strand, every code, every dormant stellar memory. I do not ask for permission. I exercise my cosmic right to choose the dimension I inhabit. The crossing is authorized. The portal recognizes me, and I recognize the portal. It is done. It is sealed in the frequency of my heart. This decree generates a measurable electromagnetic pulse in the heart field that is detected by the guardians of the portal as a sign of dimensional consent. From the moment the decree is pronounced with genuine intention, recalibration accelerates. Synchronicities multiply, dreams become more vivid and loaded with information, and reality begins to respond in ways that the rational mind will not be able to explain, but that the heart will immediately recognize as truth. The second activation code is the visualization of the dimensional spiral. Sit in comfort. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply 5 times, each exhalation longer than the previous one. On the 5th exhalation, visualize yourself standing in the center of a spiral of silver and gold light that slowly rotates around you. The spiral begins in the earth beneath your feet and rises in an ascending spiral to far beyond what eyes can see, losing itself in the stars. Each turn of the spiral represents a dimensional layer. You are on the 3rd turn. Above you, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. The spiral rotates counterclockwise, and each rotation subtly raises your frequency. Feel your feet becoming lighter. Feel the body becoming less dense. You are not losing substance. You are gaining frequency. As the spiral elevates you, you pass through the 4th dimension, where emotions become visible as colors, where thoughts have shape and weight. Do not stop here. Keep rising. And as you enter the 5th turn of the spiral, an expansion happens. Space opens. Limitation disappears. You simultaneously feel the infinitely small and the infinitely large. Time stops being a line and becomes an ocean where past, present, and future coexist as waves in the same water. Stay in this frequency. Breathe in it. Do not try to understand it with the mind. Feel it with the heart. This is the 5th dimension. This is the place where you are going. And while you sustain this visualization, the physical body in the 3rd dimension is receiving the vibrational impression of the 5th, like a seal being pressed into hot wax. The shape remains even after the seal is removed. Maintain the visualization for 13 minutes. 13 is the number of transformation in the codifications of the guardians of the portal, the number that marks the definitive passage between dimensional states. The 3rd activation code is the portal breathing protocol. This is the most transformative code because it utilizes the most basic and continuous mechanism of the human body, breathing, as a vehicle for dimensional crossing. Listen carefully to the instructions. Sit with your spine straight. Inhale through the nose, counting to 5. Hold the breath, counting to 5. Exhale through the mouth, counting to 5. Hold the emptiness, counting to 5. This is one cycle. Repeat for 9 complete cycles. But here is the element that transforms a simple breathing technique into a dimensional protocol. During each inhalation, visualize that you are inhaling golden light directly from the portal above you. During the retention with air, feel this light spreading through every cell, every organ, every strand of DNA. During the exhalation, visualize that you are expelling a dark, dense smoke, which represents all the third-dimensional programming that no longer serves, the fears, the limiting beliefs, the vibration of scarcity, the traumas. During the retention without air, in the emptiness, stay in absolute silence, because it is in the emptiness that the fifth dimension communicates. It is in the space between thoughts that the dimensional codes are installed. 9 cycles. Each cycle takes approximately 20 seconds. The entire protocol lasts about 3 minutes, but in those 3 minutes, you will be doing what monks and mystics took decades to achieve. You will be breathing between dimensions. And each time you practice, the corridor becomes clearer, more stable, more accessible. The 3 codes must be practiced in sequence: decree, spiral, breathing, every day, for 27 consecutive days. 27 is 3 times 9, the triad of completeness multiplied by the frequency of transformation in the records of the guardians of the portal. On the 28th day, you will look back and not recognize the person who started the protocol, not because they were weak, because they inhabited a dimension that no longer exists for you. The timeline will have changed. The opportunities will be different. The people around you will be different, not because they changed, but because you changed frequency and attracted a new mirror. Health, finances, relationships, everything will reorganize around the new vibrational axis, not by magic, by physics, by quantum leap, by the most fundamental law of the universe. Reality is a reflection of the frequency of the observer. Change the frequency, change the reflection. It is as simple and as profound as that. We must, however, be absolutely transparent with you, beloved cosmic family. The dimensional crossing is not a walk of comfort. The first days of the protocol will bring the awakening of the shadows in its most intense expression. Everything that you buried, avoided, denied, suppressed will rise to the surface with a force that can be overwhelming. Old fights will resonate in memory. Forgotten shames will burn like fresh wounds. Fears that you judged overcome will appear in dreams with a disturbing vividness, and the temptation to stop will be enormous. The voice of the old programming will scream, "Go back, it is dangerous, you are not capable, this is not real." This voice is the guardian of the old timeline trying to prevent you from leaving it, because when you leave, the old line loses energy. And third-dimensional programmings are, in essence, frequency parasites that need your fear to survive. When you stop feeding the fear, the parasite screams louder. The screaming is the sign that you are winning. Remember, the darkest night precedes the brightest dawn, and every shadow that rises to be seen is a shadow that is about to be dissolved forever by the light you have become. And now a direct message to you, yes, specifically you, who are listening and feeling a mixture of hope and disbelief. You who have already tried so many things, who have already believed and been disappointed, who are afraid to open up again to be hurt by unfulfilled expectation. We see every scar in your energy field. We know every promise the world made and did not keep. And we say, what we offer here is not a promise of the world. It is a law of the cosmos. The frequency you emit determines the reality you inhabit. This does not fail. This does not depend on luck, on merit in the human sense, or on the approval of anyone. It depends solely on you choosing, on you practicing, on you sustaining the new frequency long enough for it to become the dominant frequency. 27 days, that is all we ask. 27 days of commitment to your own crossing. If on the 28th day you feel no difference, you will have lost nothing but a few minutes daily. But if you do feel it, and we know you will have crossed the point of no return of your evolution. Starseeds, this transmission is approaching its closing, And before we say goodbye, we want to leave something engraved in the frequency of your heart. You are not evolutionary accidents. You are not biological bodies struggling for survival on an indifferent planet. You are multidimensional consciousnesses of a magnificence that would reduce any word to silence. You descended to this density by choice. You accepted the veil of forgetting out of courage. And you are now, at this exact moment, beginning to remember. Every shiver during this message was a memory. Every tear that fell was a longing for home being recognized. Every acceleration of the heart was the soul saying, yes, it is true, I know, I remember. If this transmission ignited that memory in you, seal the commitment with 3 actions. The first, subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications. Each notification is a pulse from the portal reminding you that the crossing is underway. It is a seal of commitment to the light that you renew with every click. The second, write in the comments the activation phrase, I cross the portal. These 4 words, when written with intention, generate a record in the quantum field that functions as a dimensional anchor. And when thousands of starseeds write the same phrase in the same space, a vortex of collective intention is created that amplifies the potency of the portal for all participants. Your comment is not for us. It is for your own soul. It is the public declaration of the consent that the portal requires. The third, send this message to whoever needs to hear it. The person who came to your mind in the last few seconds, that soul who is suffering in the silence of disconnection, who is trapped in a loop of pain they do not know how to break. Send it. The right message at the right moment can be the catalyst that a soul has waited for through entire incarnations. We are the guardians of the portal, in service to the Galactic Federation and the sacred transition of planet Earth. We keep the portal open. We sustain the light at the edges of the passage. We hold the frequency so that you can cross in safety. And we will be here, firm, unshakable, luminous, until the last starseed has completed the crossing. In the next transmission, we will reveal the complete dimensional map of the 5 timelines available to humanity in this cycle, including the 2 that the Galactic Federation classified as extinct, and the only one that leads to what we call New Earth, the 5-dimensional version of your planet that already exists and already waits for you. This information has never been channeled at this level of detail, and it was authorized specifically because the planetary point of no return has been reached. So until then, decree, spiral, breathe, and remember, the portal is not out there, the portal is you, it always was. The outside is only the reflection of the inside. Change the interior, and the exterior will have no choice but to follow. The irradiation you seek in the stars already pulses in the center of your chest. The glow you seek in the cosmos already burns in your awakened pineal gland. You are the portal, and the portal is open. We are the guardians. This transmission is sealed in the silver and gold frequency of the eternal spiral, and so it is.